Tutankhamun overshadows every Egyptian pharaoh with a net worth of $350 billion and the world's most expensive tomb worth $1 billion. Yes, you heard it right. Today in this video, we take you on a journey through Tutankhamun's treasures, which include statues, a gilded wooden bed, his throne, and over 5,000 pieces found in his tomb. We will talk about his 20-pound death mask made of gold and other interesting artifacts to witness his gold-gilded lifestyle. Stay connected so that you don't miss anything. Tutankhamun, also known as King Tut and the Boy King, an Egyptian pharaoh who lived a rich life, spent millions of dollars on his everyday life, and was buried along with one of the largest treasures worth $1 billion. If the Forbes list of richest men would consider the kingdom's wealth, then Tutankhamun would be topping the world's richest list with a net worth of $350 billion. That includes buildings, monuments, revenues, gifts, most importantly, his tomb. King Tut took over the throne at the age of 9 and was one of the youngest kings of the Egyptian Empire. His reign was of merely 10 years and died at the age of 19. Tutankhamun was the last king of the 18th Egyptian dynasty. King Tut has the honor of having the most expensive tomb in the world, valued at $1 billion, that was ever created for any pharaoh. Imagine a dead person's tomb worth equivalent to the multi-story house of Indian billionaire Mukesh Ambani. King Tut's tomb was discovered in 1922 by an English archaeologist, Howard Carter. The tomb of King Tut is in the famous Valley of Kings near Thebes in Egypt. Did you know it was one of the biggest discoveries of the millennium? The news of this discovery dazzled the world. Carter found 5,000 artifacts and sacred objects placed in the tomb. It was one of the largest tombs ever discovered in Egypt. It was full of gold, silver, jewelry, precious stones, and ancient Egyptian artifacts. Based on the traces found in the tomb, it was robbed twice after the 20th dynasty, but tomb raiders couldn't reach the main chambers and the precious things were safe in the tomb. It took them 8 years to record the tomb's treasures. Yes, 8 years just to record the treasured artifacts. King Tut's tomb depicts how lavishly he lived and spent millions of dollars on his lifestyle. Having said that, let's dive straight into the world's most expensive tomb. Tutankhamun's tomb had 4 main rooms: the antechamber, the annex, the burial chamber, and the treasury room. This tomb was extraordinarily stuffed with gold treasures and artifacts. These tombs were well decorated on the inside with unobtrusive doorways. The first room, the antechamber of 315 square feet, was one of the biggest rooms in the entire tomb, similar to the size of Bright Times Square Theater in New York. At the time of discovery, the archaeologist who found this room saw everything glittering in gold. There were 3 gold-plated wood couches. Each was made in the shape of animals: a hippopotamus, a lion, and a cow. All these couches were used like shelves to hold other 700 objects like chests, baskets, and pots. The room was so big that it could accumulate large statues, beds, and whatnot. Here is something that will leave your jaws open. Out of these 700 objects, 166 objects were insured for $862 million by Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities. Seriously. This doesn't even equal the combined value of the top 10 most expensive insured body parts of celebrities like Ronaldo, Heidi, and Beckham. The second room, the annex, consisted of the weirdest stuff. It was the smallest in the tomb, but still consisted of 280 items like essential oils, food, pottery, dishes, wines, baskets, and even board games. The historians also found the game of Senet played by the ancient Egyptians. The game of Senet was just similar to chess. The interesting thing about King Tut's game of Senet was that it was exhibited in the London auction and fetched $1 million, which is equal to the Art of War chess set priced around $1 million for its unique gold handles. One of the bizarre things of the ancient Egyptian culture was that they believed that King Tut would be getting things to use in his afterlife. The third room of the tomb, known as the burial chamber, was a huge room with walls beautifully painted with ancient Egyptian portraits. The most magnificent thing among the treasures was King Tut's death mask. The death mask was made of 23-karat solid gold containing more than 20 pounds of gold. It was around 1.8 feet tall and was decorated with precious stones. It was valued at $4.8 million, which is even higher than the $4.3 million Rhine II, the most expensive photograph ever sold by a German photographer. The death mask of Tutankhamun was a masterpiece of Egyptian art. The mask rested directly on the dead body of the king, covered in the coffin. Another astonishing artifact in the burial room was King Tut's coffin. King Tut's sarcophagus held not one, but all the 3 coffins. It was unique, and such coffin boxing was never seen before. The outer 2 coffins were crafted in wood and covered in gold, along with many semi-precious stones like lapis lazuli and turquoise. The outer coffin of the king was 2.24 meters long. The toe of the coffin lid was chipped with fragrant oil. The coffins were made of cypress wood with a thin layer of gypsum overlaid with gold leaf. The layer of the gold varied in thickness, with a heavy sheet near the face and a thin gold leaf near the hands. The third and the innermost coffin was entirely made of gold, which would be worth $1.7 million in modern times, which is the cost of one Bugatti Veyron. The image of King Tut was sculpted on this coffin and made it the most unique coffin ever made in the world. Now, time for the most bizarre things. The fourth room was the Treasury Room. It consisted of boats, shrines, a gold wishing cup, shield, mirror case, the jewelry piece Beatlemania, gold sandals, daggers, spiritual sustenance, musical instruments, and games. The most bizarre thing among these were the 3 alabaster canopic jars of Tutankhamun. You might wonder if the jars would be holding some wines or oils. But no, these 3 alabaster canopic jars contained organs of King Tut's, which were separately preserved in these jars. That's right. The only organ that wasn't removed from King Tut's body was his heart. According to Egyptian mythology, his heart would be weighed in the afterlife by the god Osiris. There were many statues of King Tut that were finely carved and painted with black markings showcasing the pharaoh's features and lifestyle. King Tut was one of the fashionable pharaohs in ancient Egyptian history. Let's get straight into his royal wardrobe. King Tut owned 145 linen cloths, 12 tunics, 28 pure leather gloves, 24 shawls, 15 sashes, 25 head coverings, and 4 pairs of socks. His wardrobe alone is worth around $2.5 million in modern times. That's even more expensive than Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket, worth $1.8 million. This was just the wardrobe of King Tut. His passion was not only limited to clothes. He was a great food lover and used to go on the ostrich hunt. The one royal dish of ostrich would cost him around $10,000, that is equivalent to posh pie served at Lord Dudley Hotel in Sydney, which is worth $9,500 and served with 24 carats of gold leaf. Expensive oils, perfumes, and eye makeups found in his tomb also reflect his fashion sense. His perfumes and essential oils would be worth $10,000 to $15,000 in today's time. Out of these antique treasures, King Tut's golden throne stands out. It was more than just a seat, and it had profound and remarkable symbolic value. The throne is made of wood and covered with gold leafing, silver, glass, and semi-precious gemstones. The legs of this throne simulated lion claws and heads of lions at the top. The armrests showed symbols of double crowns and the cobras depicting the unification of Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. The back of the throne showcased the most intimate scene of King Tut and his wife, Ankhesenamun. The painting displays the young pharaoh sitting and being regaled with an ointment by his wife. It creates the most iconic scene in Egyptian history. Today, most of the expensive stuff of King Tut's tomb is exhibited all around the world in the UK and the USA. These exhibitions are famous and have sold many artifacts around the world worth around $500 million. King Tut died at an early age, and his cause of death remains a mystery. Some historians believe that he died of chronic diseases or in a war. He not only lived his life lavishly, but also is making the lives of those people who hold the treasure lavish by fetching millions of dollars. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to our channel for more historical facts and check out this next video on screen now.